absolute beauty of this project is the the connection between the four of us playing siblings, because I have so much love for each of these actors in real life. And I think that came across in bringing these characters alive, and the loss of all those years as, you know, the characters as siblings. They lost so many years together. And I felt like working with these three actors and Tasha as our leader, that was our mission, was to fill in that beauty and that love and that light for so many of our community members who are finding their way home, in, you know, who were taken away, and bringing themselves back into the circle, and how incredibly courageous that is for so many people in our communities. So yeah, that to me is the magic of what we do as artists.
I've been working in the industry for, a number of decades, and there are various things that we talk about in our culture, in our discourse, and people are familiar with them, like MMIW, things like intergenerational trauma, this kinds of stuff. People are like, they have an understanding of it. And when I go, it's about the 60s scoop, even people who are pretty versed are like, what's that? And I'm like, oh, okay, so this is not something that either Canada or the United States are proud of, and they buried it. And part of our job as Indigenous artists is to make sure that the world knows our stories.
For many years, we've been the subject of film. We were some of the first subjects of the first films were Indigenous people. And early on, we also had agency in directing, and then we're pushed out. And so for how many decades, our stories, or we're sort of set dressing sometimes. Our stories are, oh, that's so sad and tragic, but they're not full and complex. And I think what's really, important, and I think in, looking at 8 films in TIFF this year and the 50th anniversary, 8 Indigenous films, some drama, it is that agency we have to tell these stories that around the things that have impacted us, like residential school or colonial violence or, the child welfare system. But we're not just victims all the time. That, our characters in our films are complicated and beautiful and messy and, struggling and overcoming, and, that we have this range of humanity you know, uh, that's been denied for a long time when it comes to film.